Hello everyone, Merry Christmas and welcome to this special Christmas Day edition of a game in the Human Game series. I'm Grandmaster Matthew Sadler and we're taking a look at another game, this time from round 2 of the Dutch Women's Championship between Anne Haast and Eline Roebers. The second game of Eline's that I featured, my apologies, but she's just been involved in a lot of thrilling chess, so that's why we're having a look at it. And this was a fantastic game. The Dutch Women's Championship is a very short event. It looks to me like it's just 5 rounds, and that could make people play very cautiously. Or if you're really lucky, it'll make people take a lot of risks in order to get those wins. And the second is just what's happening all over the place, and it's making it a really, really nice tournament to watch. So Anna played the move f4, the bird's opening, and Eline replied with e5, which is the sharpest, the From Gambit. Funnily enough, in the very next round, Eline was white against Mike Gateman, and Eline played 1f4, so clearly impressed by what happened in this game and wanted to give it a try as well. So f takes e5, d6, takes, and this is, a line that's been known for a very long time and has been analysed an awful lot. And actually, there have been a lot of interesting engine games in this line. So we're going to have a look at a few of those too. Black's threat is immediately queen to h4 check, delivering mate. So knight f3 played, and now the move g5. And the idea, really aggressive, to play g4, chase the knight away, and then play queen h4 check afterwards. I think that d4 used to be the mainline theory before, but certainly in engine games we've seen a lot of g3, and then black carries on with g4, knight h4, and knight e7. And the idea is we just want to go knight g6, hit that knight, and well, you're going to see if the knight takes, we take off, and our rook is attacking h2. So d4, knight g6, takes. And, already white's got to be a little bit careful both about bishop takes g3, because this one's pinned, or rook takes h2, followed by bishop takes g3. So queen d3 is a good move for white. Gets the queen out of the way, so white's definitely thinking of castling queenside normally in this line. But it also protects the pawn on g3, so it covers the bishop g3 check and also rook h2. Knight c6, and black threatening knight takes d4, and bishop g takes g3 check as discovered attack. Also knight b4 and bishop f5 is a big threat. So c3 from white covers everything. And here black's got quite a big decision to make. And Eline played a move that a lot of engines have chosen, but I'm not 100% sure that it's the very best. At the TCEC competition, we got a number of games, and this was Eagle against Stockfish, and also Stockfish against AlphaZero. And black played the move bishop e6 here. In the game, Eline played queen e7 and tried to force e4 from white, sort of give a target in the centre by going bishop f5. But bishop e6 kind of feels better to me. Bishop g2, queen e7, knight d2 and f5. And, black's not going for all out, but we're just really trying to set up a bit of a bind on the central squares here. And the engines decided that they were not going to be quick enough to arrange queenside castling, so they went kingside, which makes me feel quite good as black. Queen h7 and then takes, and rook f2 is the only way to defend the h2 pawn. And if I reach this as black, against an opening like the From, I'd be really happy. Two bishops, plenty of imbalance, some sort of feeling of a kingside attack. Not easy to make something of it. Leela played a5 and a4, kind of the positional option against Stockfish, and drew quite easily as black. Against Eagle, Stockfish played the move queen g8, which I liked very much. And after e4, played the move f4 takes and rook h3. And, this is just really going for it. Queen a6, king d7. We just need to get the queen out of the way. We need to double up or triple up on the h-file, and we're motoring. We've also got ideas like g3 as well. So rook g2, rook e3, d5, and then Stockfish sacrificed a piece here, and just aiming to bring the rook into e8. You know, bishop's coming into c5. It's really, really dangerous. This, yeah, it's it's an engine game, so somehow the engines managed to survive. But yeah, I still find it hard to believe, to be honest. G5 came in. You know, look, they're trying to exploit this pin. Queen d3 takes, rook takes g4, rook e2, rook g2, f3. If takes here, we'll just take, and then queen. So rook f2 played. What a blocker. a5, bishop b2, desperately trying to swap this off, and then rook f2, rook e2, takes, knight e3, and as if by a miracle, every single piece came off, and we were left with a draw. So knight takes c7. That's always the engine way. They're pretty confident that they're going to hold rook and bishop versus rook. But that was, you know, that's really been the kind of the blueprint for me, I think, in as black in this line. You know, bishop e6, queen e7, and f5, just to clamp down on the central squares. And then, obviously, if white feels that that he or she has to castle, then yeah, you know, this is obviously going to be a very dangerous attack. So queen e7 was played by Eline. Bishop g2 was played. And now bishop f5. And this is quite interesting, actually. I mean, if you put the engines on it, they actually just want to play the move queen to e3 here. Which is quite interesting, and they give white a really high evaluation. It's just, you know, as the game goes on, the evaluation kind of drops, you know, and so I think, you know, presumably it's not as good as all that. But to start with, it looks like a clear pawn. Now, one of the key points is that if rook h2, looking for rook takes bishop g3, well, you may remember the trick from before. We'll definitely need it. It's bishop takes c6 check, and after takes we go rook h2, and that clears the path for the rook. So bishop takes g3, we just go rook f2, and well, white's going to be a piece up. It's not 100% clear, it's not 100% easy, but yeah, in general it's going to be an extra piece. So after bishop e3, white goes castles, and then a lot of different things. Yeah, I mean, bishop f2 was sort of nice and compact, but yeah, rook e8, king f1. Yeah, you know, black sort of had some counterplay, even if it's quite hard to get at the white position. I think it was Stockfish played king f2 and bishop d7, knight d2, and actually just aimed to give the pawn back somehow. So rook f5 check followed, takes, rook f5, rook f1, and then e4. And yeah, you know, this was actually pretty nice for white, really. It's like a king's gambit of your dreams, really. You know, we've got some pressure on these pawns. We've also got ideas like h5. You know, it's white's definitely got a slight advantage here, but you know, black was holding it. So I mean, certainly, you know, if you fancy an easy idea, then a queen e3 is not bad at all there. But e4 was played by Anna, and then castles, and then yeah, there was a game of it's Roland Pruisers, I think, in 2021, where he went king f2, which kind of looks a little bit wild to me. I'm not sure I want to be heading to the king side. Yeah, I mean, the best move according to the engines is something like bishop d7, and then we go f5, you know, break it open, and then once we've taken on e4, we start, you know, just coming around on the light squares. Was supposed to be okay, but yeah, it feels a bit odd, really, you know, putting the king that way. I like Anna's plan a lot more, which is to go bishop e3. Bishop d7 played. Again, bishop e6 followed by f5 is, I think, you know, a pretty good plan for black again. Bishop d7 and then king d1. And I don't know, do check this game. There's a game, a very famous game, Tartakova against Bogolubov from London 1922, which was a very odd king's gambit. That's what Tartakova did. But yeah, you know, it was a very similar sort of situation where, you know, the king, you know, was in the centre, a little bit uncomfortable, and then Tartakova, you know, moved it over to the queen side like this and castled artificially and got a really strong position. And yeah, I mean, this is not easy at all for black to sort out. What were the engines going for? Well, actually, what Eline did was pretty much what they were looking at. Rook h5 played there, knight d2, and then rook eh8. Now, if you look at what the engines were doing again, well, f5 was a pretty common move, actually, with the idea of maybe playing the queen to h7 and attacking the pawn on h2 in that way and not committing the rook to it. And then, looking to play f takes c4, break up that white centre and get in the light squares. For example, king c2, what have we got here? Queen h7, rook e1, takes, bishop f5, pin that guy. There, bishop e6, just always peppering the light squares here, and obviously this rook can can move over to b5 or to a5 to join into the attack. Again, I think black's doing quite decently there. I think f5 is a very good move, and I think in general, that idea of just breaking up the centre. Well, I think it fits. It fits better. It fits kind of well with the idea of of playing this bishop f5. Tempt open the white centre and then hit it. What black ends up doing is just not getting very far actually. So rook dh8 played, attacking the pawn on h2. Bishop g1, and then knight a5. That's was Eline's idea, which was to play the move c5 to open up the centre. But yeah, I don't feel that that's as powerful and as freeing for black as playing the move f5. So now there are a number of possibilities. Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at just going king c2, which is definitely possible, and then just running over to the side and scampering over to a1 with the king. I think, just in general, that would have been a very safe human way to play. It's not giving you the most out of the position, but definitely not stupid at all. b4 was Stockfish's choice. Which again is very reminiscent of that Tartakova-Bogolubov game. Bishop check and then rook b1, and the idea is that you're going to play rook b2 and then you're going to hide the king behind there, and well, you've got an extra pawn, you've got the centre. Yeah, black does have, of course, a lot of general pressure, but yeah, you don't actually see anything that they're doing, and you've always got to watch out for moves like e5, for example. I mean, very often you'll see in the game, these things are falling to piece sacrifices, but eventually they're going to be strong. Once you've got your king safe in the corner. What Anna did was very, very cunning. Actually, played the move rook c1. But after Eline's c5. She didn't quite follow through because there was an absolutely stunning move here, which was the move b4. Really, really nice. It makes total sense of this rook on c1, because if you take on here, I'll just take on b4, and yeah, I've got a check, and if you go knight there, well, I'll find one way or another to pin you, either b5, b5 or d5. So this is really, really dangerous. The only slight inconvenience is that you do seem to get, chased over back to the king side. But yeah, I mean, this works out really well. Knight c6 takes bishop c7 was what my engines were looking at there. But yeah, queen c4. This bishop on a4 now is really in a lot of trouble. Takes. King e2. Bishop c2, what a move. If rook c2, we've got rook g1. And then queen d5 and queen d6. And yeah, I mean, it's not hopeless, but white's obviously doing, really, really well. And yeah, that would have made so much sense of that move, rook c1. I mean, rook c1 was a very clever way of actually putting a piece active. And then making sure that the king can move to the corner in one flowing move, and it had that absolutely gorgeous point that after c5 you could go not king c2 but b4. But anyway, Anna missed that one. Play king c2, which is a very sensible move. But after king b8 here, just after having played it so nice and controlled, yeah, I mean, it really was the moment to play king b1, and just get that king out of the way. into the corner, nice and safe, and then afterwards, your central pawns will start working. Now, this wasn't really leading to a win for white in my engine games anymore. Black was sort of active and sort of keeping white at bay. But to be honest, if you ask me, look at this position, I'd just say white's just a clear pawn up, really. The engines managed to hold it. Probably because there's little weaknesses like h2 and some sort of counterplay a bit everywhere. But in general, I like white an awful lot here. I mean, if I got this every time I played the birds, well, you'd settle for it, really. But Anna played just a little bit impatiently here, e5, and got absolutely whacked with the move bishop takes e5. And I mean, the big problem is that you might think, I'm not quite sure what Anna missed here. I mean, you might think that you can just pin that with rook e1, but actually what black can do is go bishop f5, bishop e4, and now just retreat the bishop. And the pin's been turned around. It's now the rook's pinned. So if you take on here, I take on e1. So that's a little bit annoying, although it would have been the best move, I think, for white. But after Anna's d takes e5, all of a sudden everything turns around because everything gets active, and bishop f5 is an absolutely massive threat here. The queen, the king. If what you would give to have the king already on b1, so you could hide away on the a1 square, but it's not to be. So well, Anna actually played for a very nice trick back, and amazingly it worked. I mean, both players were getting a little bit short of time. I think Eline shorter than Anna, and I mean, still there are a lot of complications. So rook d1 was played, bishop f5 and bishop e4. And now rook takes e4 is the really nasty point, of course. Knight takes e4. We've just got bishop takes e4. But Anna brought out bishop takes c5. Whack, here we are. And the idea of trying to distract the queen away from protecting the rook on e4. Now, what was the best move here? The best move was to play the queen simply back to e8 and keep the threats. Queen d4, we go rook e2. And after king d4, we go king a8. And, it's not 100% obvious that just, quickly, that this is going to be so good for black. But then the more you look, the more you think, actually, this rook on the 7th is enormous. It's simply, tying this knight down to d2. You can't move away because I just have rook c2. And then, of course, this battery down here is stopping white from attacking the e-file. So the knight's paralyzed, you can't use the d-file, and the e-file is covered, and actually white's got virtually nothing to do here. And what the engine did very well here was just gradually creep forwards here. Queen e6, b3, we go rook c8, rook f1, we go b6, and then we're going to start coming around with knight c6. We'll probably want to go to e5 and then into d3, and it's just a very difficult, very unpleasant position for white here. And there's threats of g6 to g5 as well. That bishop on f4 is a bit short of squares because the knight on d2 can't move. So the queen e8 would have been really, really strong, and that would have been all of a sudden tipping to black's side. But Eline played queen takes c5 and knight takes c4 followed, and now essentially we're looking at a draw. Queen c4 was the best move here, but we're only talking about a very slight advantage for black. Queen c6 was the most natural move. I mean, it is the most natural to attack the knight on e4 and also keep a little bit of control of d6. But after rook e1, rook e8, Anna found this very good move, king c1, just unpinning. I mean, we're threatening queen d6 check now, so you've got to take on e4, and then we just sack, and we go queen d6 check. And if you go king c8, that's what happened in the game, just a draw by perpetual, because you can't go round to a8, because queen d8 check would be checkmate. So there we are. That was quite a game, and I think both players might feel a little bit sad about not having made a win. I mean, actually, Anne Haast has been playing really sharply all the way through, and with a bit of luck, she could have had 2 out of 2. with a big dollop of bad luck, she could have had 0 out of 2. You know, it's been that sort of fighting performance, really. So, yeah, I mean, this was very interesting. I mean, I do think that following, the best engine games, I think that Bishop E6, then Queen E7, and then this move F5. I think this is a very important plan to put in. You know, F5 to stop White from establishing a double pawn centre. And then, I mean, after this was played, I thought Anna's plan really showed very good understanding, moving the king out of the way, bringing it to the queen side, and it could have worked really, really well. Just the idea of playing b4, and especially after Anna's lovely move rook c1, to have played b4 in this position would have been really, really killing. And it's just funny, actually. Just after all that control played, just before getting the king to safety, somehow Anna got impatient, maybe, or just miscalculated something, and played this move e5. And I mean, after accepting the sacrifice as well, this was very, very dangerous. But again, Anna saw something very resourceful, and obviously with short of time, it wasn't easy for Black to understand properly just how good her position was. But what a game, and we're now into a little bit of a rest time, of course. I think probably Christmas and Boxing Day will be days off, but Eline Roebers is leading with 2.5, but then you've got Anne Haast and Machteld van Foreest on 2 out of 3, breathing on their necks. Actually, all the top seeds have moved to the top of the table, but it hasn't been an easy ride. Anne Haast in the third round was completely losing for almost all of the game after a really powerfully played opening by Robin. But just a blunder at the end. The whole game turns around, and she's right in the fight for the championship. So there we are. Hope you enjoy it. I'll keep on looking at games from this championship, because it's really proving to be a great deal of fun to spectate, and a lovely thing to analyse as well. And hopefully join me in looking at the tournament together when it resumes, I think on the 27th of December. So there we are. Have a Merry Christmas. If you're well in the Christmas spirit, why not give me a like, subscribe to the channel, take a look at the Chessable course, the Silicon Road to Chess Improvement, even the book, which is, I think a really nice book, all about engine chess and how to make the most of your engines, and also the wonderful games that they play. But otherwise, have a lovely Christmas. Thanks very much for watching, and hope to see you at the next video.